I am so ready for your first question. You're coming in loud and clear now. Send it. Over. There are so many things that are hard about getting ready for space. Doing it, I think, is much easier than preparation. Training and in the anticipation, and for me, is always so much harder than the actual event. As you think about all the things you have to do and all the things you have to know, but once you get into it, once you're doing it, super easy because you've trained so hard. Over. Bessie, that's a great question. I'll tell you, you're going to want to Google this later because it's super interesting. Look up peristaltic pump. Peristaltic pump. It's a mechanical device, but your esophagus and other parts of your body, your small intestine, use peristaltic action to move things. And so you can swallow water by this little muscle can kind of move down and move the water through. So look up peristaltic. It is super fun to watch. Over. Anyway, there's so many reasons to go to Mars. But one that sticks out in my mind as I sit here and I look from the space station down on Earth is just how fragile the Earth is, how thin our atmosphere is, how simple and how easy it would be for our species to be wiped off the planet. And going to Mars would make us a multi-planetary species and double our chances of survival. So going to Mars, there are lots of reasons that to me that stands out the most. Over. Well, step one is we launch a bunch of rockets with water into space. And then step two is we reuse it. Every time all the water we sweat out goes into the air and our air conditioners capture it, our toilets capture the water as well and filter it and clean it out for tomorrow's use. So we recycle way over 95% of the water we use, so we don't have to launch a whole lot. Over. Well, for this question, I'm actually super glad you guys are in England because I think in metric. I don't think in imperial, despite being an American. And I'm going to give you a little math problem here. We're about 400 kilometers or 400,000 meters from the Earth, and light travels at 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. So that's 3 with 8 zeros after it. And if you're going 60 meters, let's for example, if you're going 60 meters and you're traveling at 60 meters per second, it takes 1 second. So if you do that same math and do the division, you'll find out it takes fractions of a second for data to get from the Earth to us. Navigation has been something humans have been doing for so long. It's, we started with a compass, we started with the sun, we started with looking up the skies and looking at the things around us. We have loads of sensors on board to keep us, and luckily Earth's gravity keeps us in a really good position and very predictable. Over. We are falling all the time. In fact, there very much is gravity up here. We're falling the entire time, but we're going so fast that we just keep missing the Earth. Imagine if you were on the ground and you shot a bullet or threw a ball really fast. It eventually falls, but what if you threw it so fast it just kept matching the curvature of the Earth? That's what we're doing, just really high. Over. We do about 2.5 hours of exercise a day. In fact, I did a really fast shower in order to come get you guys because I just finished doing 2.5 hours of workout. We have a machine that builds up really high resistance levels to help us keep our bones nice, and I just got done riding a bicycle for 30 minutes. Over. Well, the vacuum of space is very cold, and so the heat on the outside of the space station depends on the sun. So when we're facing the sun, it could be very hot on the outside, and then it can get very cold very quickly. On the inside, it's really nice. It's just nice, same as your house at home. We're just hanging out, very comfortable creatures on the inside. Over. Riley, if you restricted me to one word, it'd be amazing. Imagine getting to fly all the time. Everywhere you go, if I was a little kid, as an adult, I always have these dreams of flying, and now it's a reality for me every single day. It's absolutely amazing. Over. Oh, man, that's such a tough question. There's so many favorite parts about the space station. I like playing practical jokes on my crewmates. It's one of my favorite parts because there's really cool jokes you can play in 0G. I also love showing people the space station and showing people the future of humanity. Over. I mean, you can remember, the faster you go, the harder it is to stop. And so, when I first got up here after a couple, 10 days, 15 days or so, I started getting really confident in moving around, and I started getting a little too fast, a little overconfident, and started running into things. So you don't want to go too fast, because remember, you got to stop. Over. Washing your hands is something I really miss. We're restricted in how many wipes we can use, and we don't have running water. So really, you can squirt some water on a washcloth if you need to, or just wipe your hands with baby wipes. Over. Astronomical phenomena is a pretty broad category, but I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do after dinner every night is to go down to the cupola and look at the aurora. Right now we've got a lot of solar activity going on, and when you look south near Antarctica, the green aurora is just so impressive. I've been taking some long exposure shots to capture it. Over. Well, that's a toss-up. I'll give you a few. One is going south and seeing the aurora is beautiful. That's really just awesome. The other thing I really like is Africa, because Africa this time of year, for some reason, is just having these amazing lightning storms and thunderstorms, and just seeing the lightning from above. And you get about 10 minutes to go across Africa, and for 10 minutes you just get this beautiful lightning storm, and it's really cool to hang out with friends in the cupola and see the lightning. It's huge. I think it's the size of a soccer field or two, but it's also, the inside is roughly the interior or volume of a 5-bedroom house. Over. Our food is pre-made and pre-cooked. It's in vacuum-sealed bags typically, and all we do is heat it up. But we have gobs of food, a wide variety of food, and each night we just take it out of the containers and warm it up and eat it. It's really nice. Over. We don't get to vote while we are up here, just timing-wise, but in the past, our crewmates, they've set up a system for our crewmates to be able to vote from space. Also, many of our states in the United States have remote voting options, so we can, in fact, vote from space. Over. Spacesuits are super heavy, but remember, we're weightless, so we just have to deal with the mass. And it's really fun to move massive things around on space stations. So they're maybe 300, 400, 500 pounds worth of a spacesuit for the ones going outside. The ones we wear in our space capsule are pretty light, probably on the order of 40 pounds or so. But getting something that's really heavy started is really fun, but you also remember you have to stop it. That's a great question. I'm going to start looking for some of the other planets. I haven't really been able to look yet, other than to stare at our Earth, our favorite planet. But now you've given me a goal to try and see some of the other planets. It's difficult because many of our windows face the Earth, but some of them look out at the stars. Like the other night I saw the constellation Orion. So let me see if I can go find some planets. Thanks for the idea. GB4ACA NA1SS, what a tremendous call and tremendous questions. I'm glad I could give at least 2 homework assignments. Thanks for coming aboard the International Space Station.